What's up, y'all? Hey, it's Tejal here. And I decided to go live. I look crazy. I definitely don't have any of my things around here, but I wanted to go live because I wanted to talk about all this Diddy stuff and just kind of highlight how it affects, community. Um, and I'm not here to drag anybody. I think that y'all know me. I'm all about love for real, the real love. But I'm all about love and just community, humanity. And I just really wanted to talk about this because a lot of times I see people and they're like, what does this have to do with us? Like, you guys talk about celebrities too much. And I'm like, no, actually, like, I feel like celebrity news is a reflection of our community. Like, and we'll dive into that through this. I really plan to only be here for 10 minutes, but y'all know how it goes. But while you're here, make sure you like and subscribe on my YouTube channel. Tariffs is going up, taxes is going up. Y'all see they just passed the BBB, and man, shit's about to get real. Oh yeah, let me make a little note about that. Make sure y'all connect with y'all's community. Connect with cooperatives in your community. Connect with farmers, people who know how to farm, learn how to farm. I feel like God told me, like, in 2020 during the pandemic, we all were like kind of isolated, and I felt like that's when I heard God the most. But He told me that shit was about to get real and to learn how to farm and to really get rooted in community. So that's kind of what I've been doing over these past 5 years, is like really trying to find my tribe, really trying to make sure that I, live at a certain level where, like, when shit starts going crazy, there's really not much to worry about. So I'm just praying and trying to stay covered, and I hope that you do the same. So we'll join into this. I really want to say, like, I'm not here to drag anybody. That's what I said earlier. I'm just really here to understand how we got here and how we can heal, just because this pattern isn't new. This is something that we see. It shows up in families, friendships, and it shows up in workplaces the most. But today I really want to unpack the systems that, like, let narcissistic people, especially those in power with money, do so much harm and still have so much support. Like, these things should be obvious, but they're not. And people really choose to admire and adore people with money and power. And I really want to talk about it. So just to kind of give y'all a little background about me, like, when I was growing up, I loved Diddy. Like, he was, even as a child, he was just somebody that just had this energy that you could feel. It was electrifying. It was very contagious. And it didn't help that I had a cousin who looked just like Puff. Like, I had a cousin, his name was Mickey. And we used to call him Lil Puffy because he really looked like he was Christian Combs before Christian Combs. Like, Mickey really looked like Diddy. And he was like 7, 8 years older than me. So it was just cool to have a cousin that looked like Diddy. And we always used to just make fun of him. And so I had this very fond appreciation for Diddy, especially after my cousin Mickey passed, because looking at Diddy reminded me of Mickey every single time. It was like a time to honor my cousin and remember the good times we had. And I wrote a blog about this, which I'll put in the description. But yeah, Mickey was my favorite cousin growing up. Like, he was just so sweet. He loved kids. He would be the cousin that played with you when none of your other cousins wanted to. I remember for Christmas, I got these walkie-talkies, and I was so excited. I was looking for somebody in my house to play with me, to go to the other side of the house and, like, talk to me. And I remember him like, cuz, here, I'll play with you, and, like, took the walkie-talkie, went downstairs to our living room. I went all the way up to my room, and we were just, like, talking and saying stupid stuff. But that is, like, the fondest memory I have of Mickey. So I say all that to say, like, I do not have, I mean, I was a fan. People in high school would ask me who my favorite rapper was. I would say Diddy. Like, and it wasn't about flow. Like I said, it was about energy. So I just wanted to give y'all a quick history. I'm not no Diddy hater. I'm not no He-Man woman hater. I actually really wish things like this wouldn't be so damn complicated. I feel like we overcomplicate uh just like morals, morality, and righteousness. It's not that hard. It's not that hard. So I really want to talk about um narcissism and the power loop, and just like how power attracts narcissism, right? Like, what I'm noticing is people who get a lot of money and have like some traumas that aren't addressed usually aren't the best with their money or their power, right? Like, let's say, like, okay, so I'm no therapist, but like the pattern that I've seen is like men getting a lot of money and then doing very horrible things to people because they have unaddressed trauma or experiences that they haven't really dealt with. Like, I do believe that there can be millionaires and billionaires who are kind and like, if you're a billionaire or a millionaire, I mean a billionaire, I think it's easy to get to a million. Uh, Something in my head was just like, then girl, why ain't you got it? But I really do. I think that it's easy to get to a million. I think that um if you're really smart about it. But I think a billion kind of puts you in this space of like, I don't know, this newfound, nobody's really touching me kind of energy. It really is a little harder to get to a billion. And I think this is where we're kind of seeing like people kind of go off their rockers. And I looked it up because I was like, okay, if there is trauma with having too little money, is there trauma with having too much money? And actually, on Headwaters, fl.org, they say that yes, it is possible to experience financial trauma related to having too much money, just as it is with having too little. And so it's like, so I'm gonna keep reading. So while scarcity can create significant stress and anxiety, an abundance of wealth can also lead to unique challenges and navigate and negative psychological impacts. So a lot of times when people are getting money, they are experiencing trauma too. And I think it comes with like paranoia, and just I feel like there's this chemical reaction in your brain for either extreme. And so for me, I haven't been on either side. Like, I've never made too much money. I've always been, oh no, I hope I didn't cut off. Okay, am I still here? Okay. So I've never been broke. I've never been in poverty. I've never had to worry about where my next meal was going to come from. I never had to worry about the light bill. My family, we grew up in a very nice home. My parents took very good care of me. And money was never an issue. And then I never had like so much money to where I'm paranoid or I'm thinking people treat me differently. And so I feel like I have a very stable mindset when it comes to money. Like, there are some things that I will not do for money. You're not going to yell at me. You're not going to control my schedule. You're not going to, like, I have very strict boundaries around money and making it, because I know how to live a good life where I feel great, my family feels good, and I feel satisfied. I think that's the thing. Too little or too much can kind of ruin you. And with lack of money, I just never had to deal with that. So I think that makes me a very great person to talk about both sides, because I'm like on the outside looking in and kind of seeing. I'm like that friend that's not experiencing something, but I can tell you, like, it's not good, girl, for him to like bust you upside your head. You dating somebody and you're in it, so you can't really see the negativeness of something, but your friend is like, girl, you are not in a good situation. Like, I feel like I'm like that with money. I hope that makes sense. Anyway, let's move on. So I just wanted to speak on the mental impacts of having too much money. And I've totally seen and had some friends who started making hella money and switched up. And I feel like something happened with their brain. And it's like, I feel like there's paranoia. Then there's also like this feeling of like, you don't understand. You're not making money like me. And it's like, yeah, probably. I probably do lose that, understanding of like what it is to be a millionaire or be able to buy a flight tomorrow, today, right now. Like, and I feel like that is valid, but I also feel like when you lose money, you don't have to lose your morals or your character. And I feel like if you're not careful, that's what happens. And we see it happen every day. So, narcissism, there's a power loop, right? A lot of times we see people with a lot of money, especially in this Diddy case, where you do a lot for people. Sometimes when people get a lot of money, they'll give opportunities. You'll hear a lot of people say, "Oh, I wouldn't have had this experience if it wasn't for them," or "Oh, I wouldn't have had this kind of money if it wasn't for them." But to me, it feels like sometimes these people are building these army of supporters so that, you know, they won't leave. You're giving them things they never had before. And when you have lacked or have had some kind of trauma or have this like desire to be in this space, you will overlook a lot of things. And so I think that they built this army, which adds to their power. Like you go around, you see people being accused of like sexual abuse, verbal abuse, financial abuse, any kind of abuse. But then there are people around these people that are like, I'm gonna stand beside this person because like they've done so much for me. And I feel like that is very strategic. And that is like very evident in the Diddy case with all the testimonies from the witnesses talking about like just their lifestyles. We kept hearing the word lifestyle, lifestyle, lifestyle. And it's like, I wanna say, like it's possible if you get in a vicinity of a celebrity or someone with a lot of money, you can do that again. You don't have to sacrifice your morals or yourself for these experiences. And I think that's important for people to know. The army around narcissistic people, they are created by, I mean, they like keep this person in power. Imagine if the people around Diddy was just like, this isn't right, or we won't support this. And I know that a lot of people were probably fearing for their lives. So it's different when you're talking about your life. But like, just imagine, I don't know. Actually, that's actually a horrible example because like this man was connected to the police allegedly. And so I don't know. I think it's important to just, not be a part of that army. Do what you can, especially in the beginning if you're still like fresh in it, to get the hell out. So yeah, the money becomes a tool for manipulation and silencing. You hear a lot of people say like, but he gives back, but he helped me. And I'm saying he because most times like men are doing this, which is not like a dig towards men. I know some really amazing men. I have a beautiful fiance who is just like the best. Um, and so I think it's important to just talk about how people are like just loyal to the opportunity. They aren't loyal to the person. Like you got to think about it. If this person, and maybe they are loyal to the person. I don't know. I just feel like the opportunity is what makes people loyal and not really the person. Um, because who the heck has heart and value someone who is like abusive or mean or just really doesn't have a kind soul? Yeah. So it's super, damn, it's 14 minutes, y'all. But it's super common for people to in the black community to like protect successful men at all costs. It's like I'm seeing a lot of comments where it's like, man, everybody always want to bring a black man down, and it's like, okay, like no, that's not true. Haven't you seen that video where he was just like stomping uh Cassie in the face? Like, what do you mean? This is not Fidel Castro. This is not Trayvon Martin. This is not Mike Brown. Like, this is not something where someone was a victim. This is where someone has created multiple victims, and there's a difference. And I think, I don't know, it feels very weird to hear that when, I've risked my life. I have so many friends that have risked their life. When you think of someone like George Floyd, who was murdered, there were so many. Can I say that? Do I have to beat that out? There were so many people who went to protest for George Floyd and many others. And it's like, how can y'all say that we want to bring Black men down? That's not true. And there's so many examples of that. I think to say that is like really overlooking all the work that the Black community and Black women and Black men have done to stand up for Black men. Like, this is a whole different case, and I think it's really important for people to take their idol glasses off and really acknowledge, like, this shit is not right. And I'm so tired of us believing wealth and believing that wealth equals trustworthiness and divine favor. Like, I think people are just really attracted to the money and the popularity, and I think we need to dive into that. And I have an 8-year-old son, and I just feel like it's just important for us to create a better world for our future. So I do have a question for you guys. Why do we protect men with money more than we protect women with receipts? It's a very genuine question of really trying to understand what the mindset and the psychology is around just abuse and domestic violence and sexual assault. What causes us, even women do this. I have been online for the past week and I've seen women just saying crazy things, and it's like, how are you looking at these videos? How are you hearing these testimonies and still feeling like people wanted it or wanted to be a part of it? Now I can totally see some aspects of it, like the Jane Doe. It did not sound like she was a victim. Like, it sounded like she did the things that she wanted to do so that she could get things paid for. And so I do see this side of some people aren't victims, but I do think the victimhood of it all is a man using his power to manipulate and control people and keep them in a certain space. Allegedly. I don't know how that works, but I'm gonna say that. And so anyways, I know it's hard to accept when someone you once admired turned out to be harmful, but silence and support are a part of how abuse stays hidden, how abuse stays in power, which is why I'm doing this video. I don't like talking about this stuff. It's very scary, especially as someone who wants to be in the media world, and have a thriving career, especially in writing and journalism and being a social media being a social media personality. Right now I'm on a little break because that world is very evil. It's just nothing but evilness. The devil is lurking. And I just want to make sure I want to make sure that being a media personality isn't my only source of income. I want it to be something that is for leisure, for fun, because it gets real dicey when you're depending on this world to fund your life. And so I do have a business called Lore, a story coaching business where we go into corporate spaces and teach people how to connect through storytelling. So as I'm building that up, once that's its own thing, I'll dive back into my media stuff, which you guys can check out all my videos on my YouTube page. But I just want to say, we don't just need accountability. We need new systems. We need care. We need care and empathy, y'all. And we need truth and real love. And real love. Real love. And so, yeah, my aunt is calling me actually. But yeah, thanks y'all for joining. I think it's super interesting, all of this is. And I really just want us to be better to each other, be honest with ourselves, And like I said, this isn't to bash anybody or to judge, but it is to like ask for accountability and humanity, especially with everything that's going on in the world where men are controlling and ruling the world and literally dropping bombs on countries. Like, in order for us to stop this shit, we have to like not even accept it in our own vicinity. When you start to like close off the oxygen to things that exist like this, you create a ripple effect to the larger picture. I hope that makes sense. But all right, y'all. See y'all later. It's been real. This is my first live in a little minute, maybe like 2 months. Make sure you like and subscribe and let me know what you think. I'm trying to be as like pragmatic as possible and just really not dive too deep into like judgment because I know people have children and families, so I do want to respect that, but I do really just want to be honest about the state of the world that we're in. I feel like evil is louder right now, and I'm a good person, so I feel like putting my voice out there just really helps amplify the goodness. Okay, Glenda the good. No, not Glenda. But yeah, let me know what y'all think. Also, this was fun. So I'll probably be doing some more lives and make it more cute and fun. And I'll use my like social media voice for you guys next time. All right, see y'all later. Spread real love. Bye.